Black Lives Matter. Hi guys, long time no see. I took, as you know, about a month and a half off, mostly for my own mental health. I'm fine, but stuff happened. And then when I planned to come back to YouTube, more stuff happened, and this video is going to be interesting because initially I was going to be doing a Q&A, but I feel like that's still happening, but I'm going to push that to later. I do want to do a different kind of video first and foremost. Black Lives Matter. I'm going to keep saying this in every video from now on, and maybe if I say it enough times, it will stick. So, I am 100% in support of the Black Lives Matter movement. And as such, I want to make it extremely, extremely clear on my channel. I feel like in the past, because I have been a supporter of the Black Lives Matter since the first couple protests when I was younger. How old was I when the first one hit? This has been going on for a really, really long time, many, many years. But I feel like when I was younger, there was a huge part of me, there were two fears. The first being I didn't want to make a lot of waves around people who were family and friends, and the second one being that I was afraid I was going to make a lot of mistakes as an ally, and I didn't want to do that. I felt like if I was silent, that would be better. Right? Right? No. Wrong. So I feel like by being more silent on certain things, I definitely, at least in my own life with people I know, I feel like I've given the impression that it's okay and even safe for racists to be around me because I won't call them on things as bluntly, and that's going to stop. I also want to say that if you want to help out and be an ally, again, you need to not fear making mistakes. If you make mistakes, there's a good chance you will. Just listen to feedback and better yourself. I know it's really intimidating, but you need to be open to being wrong, and you need to try to do something as best you can and listen when people give you feedback and respond by correcting and being better. I know that I'm probably going to make mistakes in that video, that's totally fine. If I make mistakes, please let me know. I will do my best to correct them and get better. But we can't be silent anymore. I remember back in school reading the Diary of Anne Frank and a lot of other works that were written by people in concentration camps, including literature by Japanese Americans who were put in camps in the US. And I remember very vividly there were 2 or 3 accounts from various people who were children at the time, by the way. They were children as they were being taken from their homes by military officers of their respective countries, be it like Jews or, you know, the Japanese Americans being taken by American military. In every case, like, one of the most heartbreaking things for me was when they described these neighbors of theirs, people they thought they trusted, people they thought were friends, standing on their porch or in their near their front door, just watching them being taken away and being silent. And I remember always thinking, why didn't they do something? Why didn't these people do something? And I know some people say, well, they didn't know they were being taken. They knew they were being taken to a camp. They knew they were being taken away. Did they know they were going to be gassed or killed at those camps? Maybe not. But they knew they were being taken to a camp for no reason other than they had a different skin color or a different religion. That was literally the only reason. AKA, it was an injustice. Regardless of whether or not these neighbors knew these kids were going to get killed, it doesn't... it does matter, but it also doesn't matter because they were still watching an injustice happen and they chose to be silent. Keep in mind, these civilians in these neighborhoods often outnumbered the military officers that were doing these things. Like, imagine if some Nazis came into this neighborhood, like, and there were probably only a handful of them. They march up to this house, they start dragging out this Jewish family, and imagine if the entire rest of the neighborhood was like, no, you're not taking them. Like, an entire neighborhood. What if all of them together were like, that's not okay, you're not allowed to take them. These are people, you're not allowed to take them. World War II would have been very, very different. Silence allowed injustice. Silence allowed mass genocide. And I personally will not be one who will be silent during this time. I refuse. This is a problem. I'm speaking to the neighbors. I'm speaking to all the white neighbors that are standing at their front door watching and choosing to do nothing. I'm speaking to you because you're part of my community and thus you're my responsibility. So yeah, these protests aren't drama. Real people are dead and continue to die every day. This has been going on for a very, very, very long time and it needs to stop. If you aren't in support of these horrible things stopping, I would really appreciate if you got off my channel. Just get way off my channel. Just get as far away from my channel as possible, because this is not, in my mind, a debate. Because this is about something that's out of control. A system that is very, very broken and needs to be fixed. And that until it's fixed, nothing can be okay. Nothing is okay. This needs to be taken care of, period. We can't be going back to the way things, we just can't. We can't. So, today, for this video, I want to talk about some of the Black content creators that I personally really enjoy and a little bit of their work. But yeah, let's get into that. And next week, I will try to see if I can do a Q&A. So if you do have more questions for me, please let me know in the comments below. The questions can be absolutely anything. If it's completely out of bounds, I'll just tell you. So whatever. But yeah, for now, for today, we are not focusing on me. One of my favorite content creators, I have followed her for years and years and years here on YouTube, is Blaque. Blaque is a very vocal trans activist here on YouTube. She has been an OG of YouTube. She was one of the early vloggers way back in the day. I remember her stuff so long ago. It's been a long journey, and being able to watch her channel not only grow, but her aesthetic really grow and solidify, and her really finding a personal style in her videos and how she films and her tonality. It's been really cool to watch. She's one of those creators that she's been on YouTube so long, you can really see the evolution of her as a creator, as a content creator. It's really fascinating to look at, and her videos are just so well done. She's really good at educating, and she's really blunt and honest, which is great. I love the discussions that go on in her discussion boards about these, like, discussion boards. I'm so old, I'm thinking about pro boards way back in the day. Comments. They're called comments. But the discussions that happen in the comments are actually really educational and really interesting. There will be people with completely different view sets, but they'll discuss in a very civil manner why they feel that way, and there's some really great discussions on her pages. And again, her stuff is really educational. She has some videos that are particularly built to be educational. They're not really built to be discussional, but they're wonderfully done. Really well done. They take her forever to do, so she only does a few every once in a while these days, but they're amazing. Her channel is just so good. It's got an insane amount of content. If you want to know more about trans activism, about Black activism, about what it's like being polyamorous, what it's like being an adoptee, what it's like being a content creator and seeing the change of YouTube over the years. Like there are just a lot of topics on our channel. It's really, really good. And even though I don't always agree with some of the things that are discussed, every single time I come away better educated about something, about different people's points of views, why they feel that way, and why it's so important that they feel that way. And I think that's huge. We should always be seeking to better understand others, regardless of whether or not we personally agree. And yeah, I love her channel for that. She's amazing, amazing content creator. I do wish she did a little bit more of her artwork though, because she also does some artwork, or at least she has in the past, and her creations are so incredibly cute. And I kind of wish I could get more. I'm selfish and greedy. I really wish that I could see more of her art. Her art is fantastically cute. I love it. So yeah, I really recommend her channel. I recommend pretty much all the stuff she does is really solid, intentional work. She's puts a lot of intention behind what she does. So really highly recommend her channel if you haven't seen it already. Another content creator I really like here on YouTube is SweetPotatoSoul. SweetPotatoSoul is a vegan content creator, and I follow very few vegan content creators. I find a lot of their recipes to just be completely unattainable for me, and they're not very relatable, but her channel is just great. I ran into her randomly years ago when I first went vegan, and I was trying to find a hot chocolate recipe because all the hot chocolate blends in the store contain dry milk. So I needed to make mine from scratch, and I knew it couldn't be too complicated, right? But all of these recipes I was finding were still asking for some really complicated procedures, and I wasn't having it. I was like, I don't want to melt chocolate for this. I should be able to use cocoa powder. I just don't know the measurements. And that was back before I pretty much eyeballed all my stuff, which is what I do now. But back then I needed my measurements, and so I looked on YouTube, and her channel was the first one to show up, her hot chocolate recipe. It's incredibly simple, and to this day I swear by her hot chocolate recipe. She's also one of the first people that got me to experiment with my ratios, because she says in the video that you could change the ratio of sugar, sweeter or more bitter hot chocolate. And so I started playing with that due to her suggestion, and it gave me a lot of courage to experiment with other things, and now I pretty much eyeball most of my recipes. So yeah, I mean, she was just one of those people that I ran into her channel randomly, and it really changed my perspective on how I was cooking and how I approached vegan cooking in particular. And I just really love the simplicity of it. I'm big on really, really, really simple recipes, and I really enjoy her channel for that. Her recipes tend to be more simplistic. They rarely ever depend on pre-made vegan meats. They're really vegetable based, which is great because they're more accessible to more people. I'm still not able to get a hold of a few of the ingredients because I do live in Japan, so there are still a lot of ingredients I personally can't get a hold of over here. So her recipes are still kind of hit and miss for me, but that's not her fault. It's just I live in a different country. That's gonna happen. But her channel is still more accessible to me than a lot of vegan channels, and she's just awesome. She has some really, really great knowledge for years and years of experimental cooking, and she's really, really sweet and kind about everything on her channel. It's really, really nice. I highly, highly recommend her stuff. I will link her channel as well. Okay, the next content creator that I really, really love here on YouTube is Niecy Pizza. Niecy Pizza? I always, I can see it in my head, but whenever I try to say it, I always, flip some letters around, so I'm so sorry. I probably did it wrong. I know how to say it, but I don't know how to say it. Niecy Pizza. That's how you say it. Did I get it right? Did I get it right? She's hilarious. She's just so hilarious. A lot of YouTubers that are makeup YouTubers I've kind of pulled away from lately because I'm in Japan and I really don't have access to American brands very much. I have access to NYX, but only if I go into Shinjuku to their flagship store, and it's pretty expensive. So I know CoverGirl's over here as well, and I think Physicians Formula, but I haven't seen them yet. I think I, again, have to go to Shinjuku in order to find those brands. And we just recently got out of our state of emergency, so it's really still not a good idea to be going into high crowded places like that right now. So yeah, I don't want to do that. So I don't really interact with the makeup community the way I used to, but I still watch pretty much all of her videos because she's so comedic. The way she talks about makeup and just random things in her life and her opinions are just, they're so amusing. I just love her sense of humor. It's hard to describe her sense of humor, but it's just wonderful. She's also a Pisces like me, which makes me really, really happy for really no reason, but yeah, I think she's awesome. She's fun, she's amazing. She's younger than me, so more often than not, her videos accidentally teach me about slang that kids are using today, which is a little embarrassing, but I gotta figure out somewhere, because otherwise I would never be able to navigate TikTok. But yeah, her videos are so incredibly funny. She definitely deserves way more viewers than she currently has, so definitely check out her channel if you enjoy makeup, and more importantly, you enjoy just having a fun time, because her channel is just really fun and amusing, and yeah, she's awesome. Jackie, Aina, and Alexis, I also watch their stuff every once in a great while. Again, I don't see their stuff very much because I'm just not into the makeup community as much as I used to be. Tiff, another amazing. Tiff is really funny. Sometimes I will watch her stuff even though like I can't identify with any of the makeup brands anymore because I just don't have access to them. But she's pretty comedic too, so sometimes I just watch her stuff just because I like listening to her. She's just, the way she phrases things just makes me really smile and makes me happy, so sometimes I'll just play her stuff because I just love her. But yeah, some of these other content creators, they make great content, and if I was in the United States and still like super into makeup, I would be watching their stuff more, because I did. Nyma Tang, I may be pronouncing her name wrong, I'm so sorry. I'll spell it on the screen as well. She has fantastic content. She really slams brands a new one for not having good enough pigmentation or shade range and selection. So she's a great resource for those things. Again, all of these ladies have great channels. It's just their makeup channels, and I am not in the United States. I don't have access to most of these brands anymore, so I just don't relate to the content the way I used to. So some other content creators I personally really like are Cest Bonbon, I believe is how you pronounce it. French was a difficult time for me. French 101 was a difficult time, so having slight flashbacks. I actually just recently discovered her YouTube channel. I didn't know she had a YouTube channel because I first ran into her on TikTok, and she is a witch, and a lot of her content on her videos is talking about that and giving education for what witchcraft is and isn't, and what grounding is, and spell work, and all kinds of other things. There's a lot of misinformation about various witchcraft practices and also various religions within Wicca. Now, Wicca is a religion, witchcraft is not a religion. Witchcraft is a practice. The two are actually different. And I don't know if she considers herself Wiccan. I know she does have a religious practice that is attached to her witchcraft. She does have deities she worships, multiple. But I don't know if she considers herself under the Wiccan umbrella or if she considers herself under a different one. But regardless, she is under the pagan umbrella, and her content is just super educational, super good, and she's hilarious on TikTok. I recommend her TikTok channel for sure. So funny. But I love her YouTube channel that I've recently discovered because it's pretty calming, actually. It's a calming channel to watch. She's got a lot of good information. Her video on grounding is really good. I personally don't really follow those particular rituals to ground, but I find them really interesting, and I'm always game for learning more and more ways to ground yourself in meditation and clearing your mind, because I think that's really, really good and healthy practice to have. So yeah, I really enjoy her channel. She's really great. Definitely check her out. Another witch here on YouTube. I can't find her other social media, so I don't know if she's on other social media. She might just be on YouTube. But her name is MintFaery. Fairy spelled the witch way, not the Disney way. She has a channel about... Sorry, there is a screaming child. I'm so sorry if you guys can hear that screaming. I am surrounded by families and they have screaming children, and their children are crying almost all the time. It's... yeah. Anyway, MintFaery has a different aesthetic and a slightly different practice. She, I believe, also worships some deities, but they're a little different. Again, witchcraft and Wicca are not the same thing. They tend to crisscross sometimes, but they're not actually the same thing. So again, I'm not sure if Mint actually identifies as Wiccan, or if she just does witchcraft and she has a different religious practice in addition. But again, her videos are super educational on a lot of different aspects of deities, spell work, and again, grounding and meditation, which is really, really, really important. So yeah, I really, really recommend those channels. I think they're really good, and their aesthetics are just really soothing and pleasing too. So they're just really nice channels to watch in general. I will put a bunch of links down below for different ways you can help, be it watching videos here on YouTube with ad blocker off so that the content creators get AdSense and they can donate to the right people, or by donating more directly to sources if you prefer to do that, or if you're like me and you're overseas and it's kind of, you can't do a whole lot else. But I think one of the most important ways we can help right now, at least from what I understand, that I need to speak. I can't remain silent. Remaining silent allows a space for people who are cruel and evil and do these horrible things to believe it's okay to keep doing it because nobody's stopping them. And that is not okay. I cannot and will not remain silent about this, and yes, that means I'm going to make mistakes. That's okay. Please let me know when I make a mistake. I will try to be better, and I will listen. You need to not be silent. All of us need to stand as one and make sure that what happened is acknowledged as evil as it truly is, that justice is served, and that it does not get repeated anymore. And that means that a lot of us are going to be standing against people we know. It's going to be family, it's going to be friends, and it's going to be pretty ugly. I can tell you that because I have people I know that I'm pretty sure are racist, and it's becoming clear, and it's incredibly uncomfortable. But this needs to be taken care of. This is our community, and our community needs to be cleaned up.